So I have this doubt regarding the entire Vedanta model. What you say aham vritti in the Gita session, from that comes the thoughts or the logics to justify, and then from there comes the actions.
Model is an idea. Vedanta asks you to look into the ideator. Who is making the model? So Vedanta says look into the I. It's not a model, it's who you are.
Just one last thing, like all the videos that you make, how are you confident that what you're saying is right?
I just yeah.
Like when I see Kabir Das, and I'm like just totally blown away because he didn't have that much what we say scientific knowledge, and in fact everyone who comes 2000 years back and so on. So why do we on the path of liberation have to study this much?
How did Darwin gather all these things? Was there a theory of evolution before him?
Yeah, via tour he had that.
Obviously. So he just kept observing all the seas, all the islands, one specific island in particular. So just as Darwin could know those things by observation, so could all the wise people before him.
So first of all, thank you, sir. It's my first time I'm listening to you. I'm very happy. So I have this doubt regarding the entire Vedanta model, like that I am a restlessness, a bechani, what we say, and out of this incompleteness, this restlessness, all my desires, all my wants comes up, and then from these desires, what you say aham vritti in the Gita session, from that comes the thoughts or the logics to justify, and then from there comes the actions. So it's like a model, it's a complete model. But then when I listen to Jiddu Krishnamurti ji, then he says then don't rely on any model or theorization, conceptualization ideas, because just like we discussed right now, that all ideas, all logics would have some sort of flaw. So, and then I also know that okay, everything ultimately is facts. That means that you see it yourself, and then it becomes a fact for you. But then it becomes very confusing in the sense that you start navigating into the ideas as well, like the you start navigating into models.
Model is an idea. Vedanta asks you to look into the ideator. Who is making the model? It's not your creation that you have to be too concerned with. You have to look at the creator within. I. The I is not a model, or is it? It is your living reality.
Yeah.
So Vedanta says look into the I. It's not a model. It's who you are.
But like then like okay, I asked you a question and then you give me an answer. That was also even a logical deduction, like that A, then B, then C. So even that would have some sort of fallacy. Then how do we even reach any sort of definite knowledge?
Answer is just an attempt. Whether you can begin looking at yourself. The answer is obviously not the thing. It is an attempt at making the thing happen.
A pointer to something.
A pointer to something, an encouragement, whatever you call it.
So it itself does not contain anything because it is.
Oh, it does not. It does not. It's not. And an answer by itself is a very helpless thing. It cannot do anything by itself. It's just a hope, you could say. It's just a hope that by virtue of the answer, the right thing might happen. But whether or not it would happen depends totally on the receiver.
That from which center I'm listening.
Whether there is now love strong enough to make things happen.
So, like even the entire model, like you taught us that okay, I am a restlessness. And
No, I didn't. I didn't teach you I'm a restlessness. I said you find out whether or not you are restless. There is a difference between taking it from me and finding it out for yourself.
But like maybe I'm wrong in this, but if you listen it that okay, there is a model going on that I am a restlessness and so on, and then you start observing, maybe you would just unconsciously like you would force it in your things that okay, see this, I am restless.
That's possible. That's possible.
So then how will we know that this is a fact? Because sometimes when you have observed and you realize that okay, this model is absolutely precise, it is explaining everything, but then when the right choice comes, when the time of choice comes, and you're like okay, I have to leave the bed and do the right thing, that's when the ego gives you logic, not the ego. Logics come
at the end of the long-winded answer. There are just these two words. Huh? Look at yourself. Find it out. See who you are. So that's the only thing that the answer implores you to do. The answer does not say, remember the answer. The answer says, remember who you are.
I'm a bit confused. Like, what are we trying to, when we reach a definite knowledge, like some sort of definite knowledge, won't that lead to some sort of superiority? That okay, if I'm following
What if the knowledge itself says that any feeling of superiority or inferiority is to an inferior one? What if that is the knowledge?
yeah, right.
To whom is the knowledge? Who is the knower? The knower itself is an inferior entity. Maybe that is the realization. But yes, I get what you are saying. What you are saying is these things must be discovered by oneself.
Yes, if they are not
That
discovered, then they would become motivated.
very well said, and that's a point well made. These things must be discovered by oneself. Otherwise, anything coming from any source, any teacher, any book will cease to have any kind of right impact. I can keep telling you, oh, there is restlessness within, but have you bothered to pause and see whether there is restlessness within? Otherwise, it will, you're right, just remain a model.
Yeah, because it feels like that. Sometimes I'm just like thinking about the model rather than living it. What would you say like that? And like this in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjun that see, these people are already dead. ये तो है ही मरे हुए, Duryodhan. So that obviously, when if someone listens this particular line without knowing anything, without observing, they would obviously see that there's a superiority model, that okay, Arjun, Krishna, all these are superior people and Duryodhan are lower people. So on what grounds are you saying that this person is lower?
The ground is the 72 verses that come before that, Gyan Yoga. That's all about knowing yourself. Huh? So when you know yourself, you also see there is a part of you that is exactly the same as the ones you are fighting. And you know that part of you is dead. So you know the ones you are fighting are dead. There can be no superiority. The ones you are fighting are all already present inside you as a part of you. So if you call them dead, you are acknowledging that you too are dead, and that's okay.
But like, shouldn't we give them an opportunity that okay, even though these people have some choice left, that maybe they can also come to hosh some, they can also come to understanding. Maybe Duryodhan can come to understand why.
That opportunity was given in ample measure. If we are to get into the details of the story now, rather than the philosophy, the story says that there was ample opportunity provided, but those who were being fought refused to avail the opportunity.
Just one last thing, like all the videos that you make, how are you confident that what you're saying is right? Like, I'm not being, I hope so I'm not being rude or
I
something.
don't care about being right. all I have is my honesty. Hmm? And I speak from there. And when I'm saying something to you, I just don't know whether it is right or wrong. I have no idea at all about what I'm saying. I just yeah.
Like what you say feels like a mathematical statement, like a theorem. Okay, when you are angry, you're basically angry because you are losing on something. You want something, and hence you are angry. So this is like a mathematical statement. Because if someone is angry, he won't ever say, ki, "Okay, I want something. That's why I'm
You
angry."
see, if when everything that is happening inside us is a game of atoms and molecules and things, obviously mathematics applies on things, right? If what is happening inside me is a chemical equation, shouldn't it be honestly expressed as a chemical equation? And all chemical equations deploy mathematics. So that's okay.
It's like this. I am quite like I don't understand this. Uh, I
I
today
get your concern and I fully ratify it. You see, even the best of things coming from someone else hmm, will remain a bit alien. You have to go into the process yourself. And that's the entire point of the one who speaks to you. He does not want to supplant your inner journey with his words. He wants to use his words to catalyze your inner journey. The words cannot be a substitute to self knowledge. These are things that you have to know by yourself and for yourself.
and this is for everybody, or is it just like
Everybody, absolutely everybody. The words, they are not the reality or the truth. The words are at best an encouragement.
but then it is said now that like you gave an example in a very old video that I am on my car and the car is not running, so it's basically the handbrake is pulled off. So either the guru comes and say ki hand just put the handbrake down, or you just know about the car, the engine and everything, and now you know that. So this is Gyan Yoga and that is Bhakti Yoga. So in that particular situation, the person is listening to a guru and then doing the action. And in this particular situation, I am knowing everything and then I'm doing the same thing. So there is some sort of difference.
Irrespective of whether you do it or the guru does it, first of all, you must know that the car is revving and not moving. That is something that you have to individually do, right? If even that much has not been done, how can any helper help? You are in a running car and you feel it's all quite smooth. Will you listen to advice from anywhere? So, first of all, there has to be an inner, honest, and purely individual admission of suffering. After that, it could be your own strive. I am striving to know what is happening and I want to get rid of all this. It could be a purely individual thing, or you could take help from whatever external sources possible. But irrespective of whether it's your own journey from there on or you take assistance, the thing is, first of all, you came to admit that there was something
That was missing. That
amiss. There was something that was broken. And that nobody else can do for you. That is a thing of your own honest admission.
you know the problem and then you decide that okay, I will read the biology book or I will go to the doctor. Something like that.
Yes, well captured. First of all, and in that nobody can impose himself on you. Nobody can make you do anything. It is a thing of purely personal volition. It's a sovereign choice of the consciousness to admit, yes, I'm not all right, but I want to be all right.
And there comes the faith as well, that because consciousness just keeps forgetting that it is diseased. So at the time of forgetting, you have to keep faith that okay, I am diseased.
No. More than faith, you need attention. You might forget that you have disease, but life will remind you.
Achha, yeah, like at that particular moment, you can just give attention and you're like, okay, all right.
Life will give you one tight slap from here or there if you forget your real condition, right? My eyes are dysfunctional. I cannot see. I might forget that I have been blinded. But then as soon as I stumble, I will be forced to acknowledge that. So life serves great reminders.
So the thing called faith, that what is the purpose of it then? It's not the reminder.
Faith is nothing but, in simple words, a reluctance, a fierce resistance against the finality of your current condition. I do not know what greatness means. I do not know what lies in store next. But what I certainly know is this is not what I was born for. This is faith. A huge, there has to be something else. I do not know what, but there has to be. This cannot be the finality. I resist. I refuse to accept this as my destiny. This is faith.
I have various doubts, but I guess many other people must be answered.
You can continue. I'm enjoying this.
Okay, so like there is faith, and if you like, I was observing on this. I don't know what should we say, thinking, observing, what is the right word, but the ego creates the exact parallel of what is formed when you are in hosh. Like you have faith, and then you have belief. You have prem, love, compassion, and then you have attachment. Attachment also just springs up like anything. Like when a person is falls in love for a girl or something, they say that okay, it just comes from my inside and all that. But compassion too comes like that only. It never comes ki, mujhe like I want this, and that's why I'm compassionate. So both comes without reason. Same goes like ki, the thought. In when I'm in hosh, like when you say that understanding gives you right action, understanding also there are thoughts and they lead to action. And the same thing is happening when you are in Becheni, and a particular desire gives you thoughts and actions. So basically, the ego has created exact parallel world so that you just keep remaining. You just keep remain in that thing, thinking that this is my home. Like this is what I have to
But
be.
there are telltale signs. There are easy giveaways. You can know the real thing from the spurious one. It's not all that difficult.
Because the real thing is the real, and the false one is basically
It's not a matter of poetry. When you look at yourself, you know, not just conceptually, but actually, you know the markers of the wrong thing. Hmm? Uh, you want to call a thing by a misleading name. That cannot go too far, because what you are calling it as, that too has certain characteristics, even if those characteristics are expressed in the negative. So if you're honest, then you will know that you have appointed a misleading name to the happening. It all boils down to your own inner honesty. You're calling attachment as love. It won't be too long before you detect violence in attachment. Now, how can violence go with love? So there is a giveaway.
but the violence thing can also come with the love as well.
Yeah, that which is coming with love, that might appear like violence, but if you look closely at it, you will know what it is.
Can we say that love gives you some actions, attachment also takes you to actions, but attachment can be known, it can be known that it is coming from a desire, but love cannot be known because it is coming from the unknowable. Or
Love can be known if you probe the presence of desires around it and find nothing. Then you can be reasonably sure that as of now, the thing is not corrupted. See, you cannot detect that which cannot be detected, right? But you must detect. So detect that which is detectable.
yes,
What is detectable? Desires are detectable. Greed is detectable. Fear is detectable. So look for them. And if you find them, then you must know something is amiss.
one more thing, that why, like I noticed this, that I try to just mathematize everything, like some sort of systematicness. Like, for example, you said desire, greed, and everything, and how I see it, that desire is ultimately because of greed. Sorry, greed is because of desire. So why not just use the word, like
There is no problem with mathematics. Mathematics is beautiful.
I am basically a mathematics teacher only, so that's perhaps the reason.
Mathematics is absolutely beautiful. Helps clear the clutter, helps put things very precisely. It's all right. And mathematics too can have a poeticity to it.
So, like when I see Kabir Das, And I'm like just totally blown away because he didn't have that much what we say scientific knowledge. And in fact everyone who comes 2000 years back and so on. So why do we on the path of liberation have to study this much? And this is coming from the point when I am like I just love knowledge, like just keep.
It's not
I'm
that
just asking,
it's
what do
it's
you think?
it's not that
What?
we are studying too much. If you look at most of the people uh, who ventured and made a name for themselves uh, in spirituality, most of them were very, very well read. Today, you have uh, a category of books and scriptures that you read. Then they had their own particular category that they read. Some of those books or sources that they used have become redundant today. So we don't acknowledge the hard work that they did. But it's not as if things were happening spontaneously and effortlessly from for them. And today you have to read a lot and put in some degree of great effort. No, no, that's not the way. Everybody who has dared to to target liberation has put in mind blowing effort.
But the effort cannot like surpass the scientific development. Like now we know that there are genes, DNA and everything, which was obviously unknown like say 2000 years back. So how did they like understood the entire thing?
Observation of life, observation. You just observe what is going on, and from that, certain things become very clear. It's just that then they could not have expressed it in the language of science today. Today's jargon was unknown to them, not that today's science was unknown to them. They would have never used the expression DNA, for example. But they very well knew that the body of any organism is coming from a certain source, carries certain bondages, operates certain limits and certain compulsions, and very broadly, that's what DNA is about.
Basically they have the idea that it is ultimately a machinery going on.
Machinery going on, which depends on its source. A lot about you depends on the source of your body, and what the body is basically a bundle of limitations. So this is something that they could easily observe through just observation.
So by observation it can be.
Obviously, you look at a horse, you look at a mule, you see the difference. You also see that two horses behave alike, and so do two mules. Those things are not difficult to gather if you are attentive. I mean, how did Darwin gather all these things? Was there a theory of evolution before him?
Yeah, yeah, via tour he had that. Yeah.
Obviously. So he just kept observing all the seas, all the islands, one specific island in particular. So just as Darwin could know those things by observation, so could all the wise people before him.
Uh, just one thing that I have this thing that I'm very curious. So when I listen to anything you say or any person, I become very curious that how from where is it coming from, like the person I'm listening to, and what is it doing to me? Am I instantly believing in it, or I'm actually understanding and then I'm seeing it? But like the curiosity thing, sometimes basically it acts as a disturbance. For example, why am I understanding? It comes like I am a YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel and I teach maths for JE in that. So my calling, my understanding says that I should teach mathematics in a way that people start loving it. They see the depth of it. They start understanding what the world is really. So this is my calling. But sometimes what happens that some sort of doubt arises, and uh, that I should say that it feels like some sort of an existential crisis that okay, this entire Vedant thing is it is like it is a lie. It is something that I have just listened and
These doubts are probably the best things that can happen, because they will help you challenge the model. The model. Otherwise, the model will become the truth.
yes.
So,
I somehow tried. Yeah, I somehow try to just defend the model that okay, this
no,
model.
no, 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 no. The model is not the truth, and therefore there must be these periodic questions and reminders from life. Hmm? And the model will be put in its place.
But like this comes so fastly that I am not able to do the action. It feels like that okay, this right action now becomes a action which was coming from a old understanding, and hence now I don't know if there is
The right action is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is just to understand. Action happens via the system, the physical system, which includes the brain as well. So action will happen on its own. You don't have to be bothered about it. You must just keep asking yourself, am I satisfied? Do I know? Is this all that there is to it? Hmm? There is a joy in asking that question. There is also a joy in not receiving any answers to that question. Hmm? Let action happen by itself. One need not worry.
this like a constant ticking that okay, others are waiting as well, and I'm just taking so much time. So yeah, it was so nice talking.
Welcome.
Thank you. Nice.